Good day, everyone. I am Jeanai Forte. I'm talking on behalf of our group. We have in our group Paula Joseph, Rachel Andrews, Sarah Mulchan, and Kennesha Noel, and we will be taking you through our rocket pitch for our organization, Adolescent Counseling and Training Services.
Davis in 2013 stated that social need is focused on work, requires product or service solutions, and it is outcome-based. Social needs or social idea of adolescent counseling and transition services are transitional youth programs, crime reduction, employment, career guidance, life and health skills, survival skills, and counseling services. All these are outcome-based social needs that arises out of the social idea of Adolescent Counseling and Transition Services Acts. A social asset includes building and sharing of community knowledge, educational opportunities, gender equity, and income. Based on the definition, the following are the social assets for acts. Employers within the community, for instance, supermarkets such as JTA, they employ young adults. Usually, you see a high influx of them for the summer, July, August vacation. Associations and clubs such as Junior Achievers, so the youth will be able to learn how to manage a business, create their own business, and such. That will be important for them. Public spaces for meetings, after school programs, where people can share their education and help out the kids if they need be, and counseling techniques, young educated volunteers that the kids can look up to, and a healthy social network. The change we aim to achieve aiding in the transition process of molding and guiding teenagers into productive young adults and citizens who do not necessarily come from traditional homes. This is related to social needs because when the social change occurs, we would see the outcomes of crime reduction and so on, and more of the social needs being met that we discussed in the previous slide. The personal experience is that basically we visited our children's home for a practical project, and this struck a chord with us. Therefore, with this experience, it feeds into our social assets, such as sharing of knowledge and after-school programs and so on, as discussed in our social assets.
Good day everyone, my name is Sarah Mulchan and I will be presenting to you the business opportunity and business potential of ACTS. What we first need to establish is that over the last 2 decades, youth development in the Caribbean has assumed a very complex and challenging character. With the end of the Cold War and the loss of geopolitical importance, many Caribbean nations have experienced an economic decline. So in that case, particularly with Trinidad, we have been going through a recession for the longest period of time. That is no small part to the loss of FDI and the aid, and more recently from the loss of preferential treatment in agriculture markets and increasing vulnerability of tourism sector coupled with the debt service obligations. Without a doubt, Trinidad has been going through a recession. However, this has given rise to a wide variety of issues specifically faced by youths. For instance, there's a lot of high unemployment rates, migration, depletion of intellectual and social capital, weaknesses in the education system. There's a wide variety of social issues that youth today tend to face. And in most cases, these youths usually don't have counseling or don't have guidance to overcome these problems. And that is where we see a big opportunity for ACTS, in the sense that the economic situation at this point has led to the need and the necessity for ACTS and for counseling services and transitional services for youths today. So our first line of business opportunity for us is the economic situation that we are in, and that has established the need for counseling because of the rise of social issues that youths today and adolescents on the whole face. The second factor that we looked at was the existence of a target market. The table below shows the percentage of students in need of counseling for various adolescent issues faced on an everyday basis. This table depicts the opportunity for ACTS since we focus on students as such. We focus on children in such situations, and therefore the growing percentage yearly serves as a potential for our business to exist and succeed over time. Having established this, what we are trying to say is that with the growing need of children for counseling, what we can do is actually circle in on our target markets. We can actually focus on the rise in the need for counseling, and therefore that gives us a growing target market over time. Even though it may be a negative thing to have a growing target market that needs counseling, it comes in as a benefit to us in that we would have a larger market share to take hold of then. For this slide, we look at the growing need for and the growing hiring of these services. The image on the right depicts the economic opportunity again for a business like ACTS, taking into consideration that students are now seeking out their own counseling services. So the slide before showed that children on the whole and their need for it, but this is actually showing the students sorting after their own counseling services. And ACTS stands a good opportunity to earn income and be economically viable in a recession as such, but at the same time with an opportunity as such. The image predicted that percentages of children seeking counseling would grow based on the social issues arising day by day, and therefore their recognition for the need for counseling by parents, guardians, or the teens themselves would actually increase our business viability over time. And therefore, the potential is again established by sorting after services such as what ACTS would be providing.
Due to adolescence counseling, we have existed for a long time, and our business concept for our main idea are as follows. Firstly, we would like to sort through the ages to understand their behavior, and that would be underneath the performing and career development sector. Secondly, we want to offer counsel to develop their potential. We want self-awareness. We want to see how are they going about, or what potential does these kids have, and how we can address it or modify it, or bring forth it. Thirdly, we want to become aware of available opportunities. That's career awareness. For us, where can we take our business next? How we can go about taking it next? What other fields can we include in adolescent counseling? And lastly, help the customers of adolescent counseling with formal guidance practice, and that's goal setting and skills training. We want to accomplish these goals. We want to sit, talk to them, find out, what is their ideologies, and then we want to formulate a plan to help them accomplish those goals. Now we're going to examine the existing adolescent services in Trinidad. Firstly, we have the National Family Service. They, as our businesses going to offer, they offer free counseling services for individuals, groups, and families. Secondly, we have the Center for Human Development, which offers counseling for all. It does not have brackets or age group. They offer counseling generally. And then thirdly, we have the wholeness and wellness counseling and physiotherapy services, which is a service, a one type of service, which is physiotherapy, that offers counseling for adolescents between the age of 10 and 19 years.
Good day, everyone. I am Rachel Andrews, and I will be presenting on logistics strategies and the marketing strategies based on our operating environment. And to look at this, I will define what is logistics strategy. Logistics strategy is the science of evaluating the most cost-effective methodology of distributing goods to market while achieving service level objectives. When establishing an effective logistics strategy, one needs to understand what degree logistics impacts their organization and their customers. The logistic principles are even more important in service organization than in a producing firm. And our organization, Adolescents Consulting and Transitional Service, provides a service rather than a product. To realize our potential, we have to define the definition of logistics must be expanded. Service logistics is defined as the management of activities which respond to customer on an individual basis. The services historical underpinnings are examined and guiding concepts central to service response logistics are provided. These concepts include the benefit delivery, delivery processes, delivery orientation, responsive planning, and a customer service model that focuses on individual customer needs. So the diagram on the slide, logistic composite modeling, is suitable for logistics business decision spanning a range from planning to operation. Operation refers to the actual management and execution of a logistics supply chain. Planning includes all of the analysis and design studies undertaken prior to systems operation. Planning also includes any understanding of how the logistics system is expected to operate after system implementation and or modification, although not in much detail it required during actual operation. More time is available in planning, so many decision trade-offs and alternatives can be evaluated, and there is greater opportunity for user interaction with models. This is important because changing a logistics supply chain is complicated, disruptive, time consuming, and expensive. In contrast, supply chain operations require immediate decisions, so little time is available for generating and testing alternatives. Hence, automation is more important here, but pre planning is still extremely important in order to control and limit the scope of operational decisions. Note, planning and analyzing activities should continue even after a logistics systems becomes operational. It continues in a continuous review and improved style. We looked at the figure again, and the areas we will look at are planning, implementation, operations, and monitoring. So, in continuing with logistics strategies, I came up with this logistics strategy model. The diagram shows the three core supply chain functions, each having their strategy. These strategies are amalgamated to form the supply chain strategy. The procurement strategy addresses the factors surrounding commercial relationships with suppliers. For example, by providing our services, simple products as tissue paper or even light refreshments have to be outsourced, and we will need a supplier to provide these for us. So we have to build relationships, we have to have contacts, we have to have information on the quality of their products. We also have to have, if we are taking things on credit, we also have to have a credit rating with these suppliers. So we have to build relationship in order to help our organization function. The materials conversion strategy addresses the operation and technical role of adding value to the purchased materials, whether in-house, at contracts producers, or at least at peak facilities with the three BL's warehouse. However, our business, core business function is providing a service. So there is no material conversion. However, there is expert conversion provided by our doctors and mental health officers. So the conversion of knowledge, the conversion of skills brings in, and when it's applied, brings in and interrelate to the service provided. For example, the service, the product that is coming out from our service is intangible. You cannot touch, you cannot see the counseling. However, it is converted from our professional to our clients through experience, through their knowledge, through their expertise. So In this case, our organization material conversion will not be a literal product, but it will be a skill based set in providing our services. The logistics strategy focuses on the objective to produce availability of items and associated services through the core inbound and outbound supply chains. So, in our logistics strategy, we also look at having a good ambience, a good room where an adolescent can be comfortable. The ambience set the tone for this whole meeting, and having a good ambience makes them relax. And to to outsource this or to get this in our business, we had to look at designers who have children at heart and could have bring out a comfort zone in the design of our counseling rooms. Also, from the strategic model, there are logistic operations, inventory. Inventory for us as a service provider will be simple inventory because we are providing our services. We, for example, we have to provide tissue paper to our clients who maybe feeling hurt and express themselves through tears. We have to build a relationship also again with our suppliers to offer the best product at the best prices. We also have to obtain refreshments and we have to do it in a method process where we use the application of last in first out to provide these refreshments. For example, if we have provided water, a case of water purchased today will not be used before a case of water purchased last month. Supply chains define the logistics operation framework, and there are also flows through supply chain, flow of items, flow of our income to get items of inventory, and also flow of information across to the suppliers through our procurement officer. So in total, our whole logistics strategy entwines to our business model and supply network map. Marketing strategies. The marketing strategies will incorporate the traditional 4 Ps of the marketing matrix: products, place, promotion, and price. However, with the importance of supply chain to an organization's success, the marketing strategy and supply chain strategy should be brought together in the market strategy. The business plan position gives the opportunity to take advantage of future opportunities from two views. One is to develop and protect your organization resources, and the second is the marketing strategy. The marketing strategy enables parts to hold integration between a function and the overall marketing strategy. For example, the advertising plan within the marketing strategy and the distribution plan within the logistics strategy must both be consistent. This approach brings together the content in which managers operate and therefore are able to respond more rationally to competitive and economic pressures. If considered critical to an organization, the marketing strategy can also incorporate research and development, human resources, and other functions to ensure that we have market focus. The link between marketing strategy and logistics strategy is the customer service requirements. These are the approaches levels of service for customers by customer type, product group, or market segment, taking account of order fulfillment capabilities, customer service resources, and information availability. The customer service policy will also inform the nodes and links of your supply network. The strategy documents should have an appropriate horizon to specific that staff are limited in identifying approaches that may increase brand equity. This more integrated approach to strategy would allow management to make informed choices concerning the best portfolio of regions, countries, and products. So, in our marketing strategies for adolescents, counseling, and transitional services, we look at our market positioning or our brand. Our logo will be unique, marked with the colors platelet. It defines our corporate practice and brand. Also, we will look to distribute designs. What do we mean by that? How do we market our business? We will use resources such as blogs, websites, sale materials, business cards, flyers, and also advertising on the television, social media, and radio stations. We will communicate. Public relations will be a key factor in our organization, and as mentioned, with distributing our designs, we will use social media to market our business. We will also network with our existing clients who will give or recommend us to investors, friends of their company, or friends who are in similar situation. Then we will look to grow direct market, push the target practices. So when we do our marketing strategy, when we look at advertising via social media, via TV, or via the airways, we will push our business in an era where they will be successful through advertising. Our marketing strategies will help us to obtain clients, and we can also go to schools and do an open day, which will also give children the opportunity to express their views, where we will take their contact information and we'll also contact their parents who will be able to see if they need help from the doctors and mental health officers at our organization. So, our market strategies will help us to grow as well as obtain a niche market as well as obtain a network for the services provided.
Now we are going to examine our HR policy and procedure. How are we, what are the measures? So firstly, we want to, using the model, we want to have a recruitment policy. Again, we want skilled and qualified persons. So we want a framework for how are we going to recruit people, what are we looking for, what are our requirements. Secondly, once people are in the business, we want appraisal because people need to know, or I should say, employees need to know, okay, how are they doing, how are they performing. If they're underperforming, what needs to be done to correct those measures. If they are on the right path, we need to let them know. Recognition. When an employee does great, we need to let them know, hey, you have done great, you have contributed phenomenally to the organization. We want that for employees. Fourthly, training and talent management. For those who come into the organization not as trained as others, we want to be able to provide that. Also, if you are trained, I remember time evolves in the speed of it so very quickly. So we want to keep abreast with time, so therefore training is required. Next we want happiness at work. Again, we want cohesiveness and togetherness. Remember, as a form of counseling, people are coming to you to open up. If I, as an employee, is not happy, then it's going to portray that to my customers. So we want to have that family togetherness at work. And lastly, benefits. What am I as an organization bringing for my employees? Does it mean that I'm getting health benefits, pension, insurance? What am I getting? What benefits as an employee do I have? And in terms of financial strategies, remember we are an organization. We are earning our own income. So, what do we want to do first? We want to determine what our goals. What are we trying to accomplish? How are we going to accomplish it? Then, secondly, we want to evaluate where we stand now. What are our assets? What do we have to invest in the business? Thirdly, we want to know what we will need to succeed. Is it that we need money? Is it that we need skills? Is it that we need technology? What do we need? Then we want to consider our options. How can we go about achieving our goals? Because remember, our goal is to provide the services for youth and people of Trinidad and Tobago. But we need to know in what ways are we going to reach and accomplish this goal. Next, we're going to implement our strategy. After we have known how are we going to determine our goals, we've evaluated where we are, then we're going to put a strategy in place to know how we're going to work. Then we have to monitor it. We have to see how are we going to go about this change. Is the strategy that we have put in place to be able to earn income, is it being successful, or do we need to modify it? And that there is a cycle that we will continue to do on a regular basis, just to make sure that we are in alignment with our goals and in alignment with how are we going to continue to earn our income.